After growing the city through the initial stages, it's time to unleash your creativity in Cities Skylines 2. We have built the famous grids and also added some organic roads to make it look like the city has grown through different periods of time. But now that the most important public services and transportations are in place, we can focus on areas where we can be creative. And in Cities Skylines 2, there are plenty of opportunities to do just that. From road layout to height of buildings, we will use it all. After almost 8 hours of building time and over 2 hours of editing, here is how we went from big town to large city. And we start by looking into this gap that we had since the last episode. There is a lot of demand for industrial, commercial and offices now, and we need to add a lot more to cater for all the unemployment that we have in the city as well. With the high demand for residential, there is a lot of people moving in, and we need to keep up with the jobs that we provide to all our citizens. I am using this space next to the industry in there, and I will start adding more industry, but also more commercial and offices in this area as well. Especially a big focus on offices because they will use a lot of the more educated people that we have in the city. Now, if you really want to unleash your creativity, I highly recommend to buy some more tiles and actually give you the space to build around it without thinking or without worrying about the area that you actually have in the city to build. Because in Cities Skylines 2, we have a lot more tiles and we have a lot more space to build as well. So you don't need to be worried so much about this. With that out of the way, we will start doing our nice layout here. We are going for a circular area and we'll create a suburb based on that circular shape as well. The idea is that we use the shape of this suburb and work with the density to make something a little bit more interesting and explore some of the features that we have in Cities Skylines as well. I've also added a new main road next to the train station in there that I'm connecting right now, and that will serve this whole area as one of the main roads going through here. But we'll have a few more roads in there so we can help the traffic. But now we need to change the train tracks in there because I want to cross this road to the other side and I don't want to cross on the same level to not cause a lot of traffic. So we are using the cut and fill, which works extremely well in the game. I'm really glad about this feature. So easy, you don't need to go actually underground in there, you just lower it down and it creates you the cuts on the sides for you. And then to create the bridge across, as simple as that, you just draw it over and it creates that for you. I didn't have to elevate the roads or anything like that. The next thing that I'm working on is actually setting the boundaries for the city when in the transition to the water and making sure that it looks good, because I want to make it very, very close to the water in this space, and I didn't want a key in this area. We'll add keys in other areas, but not in here. As always, we are also adding a lot of pathways to connect all the areas so pedestrians have options. And I love this bridge here that was again automatically added for me and looks quite cute. As we have 16 points for unlocking new things, I'm getting the Parks University and Parking and Telecom Tower just to make sure that we make the best of this area. And I'll start with the university because we have more than 1,000 people eligible for university and nothing in the city to provide that. one of the next big steps here is to actually add zoning. I'll start with low density offices and commercial because we don't have the high density unlocked yet, but we will replace that in due time. The idea is that we use their density to change from lower density closer to the center to higher density going outwards. For high density residential, we actually already have that, and I'll use that in our favor. We'll also start adding some services like the mailboxes and also a little bit more telecom in the area to make sure that we have enough internet coverage. Following that, the next thing is to take a look at our education, because with that many residential buildings in there, I'm pretty sure that we'll need a little bit more. And spoiler alert, there won't be enough. Adding this elementary and high school over here won't be enough. But I quite like the result and how the area looks like now. And now we unlock a new milestone that gets us the high density commercial. And with that in mind, let's update this area to start getting the density that we spoke about. We are also updating some of the roads now and start some detailing because this is the fun part, right? And I'm changing this main avenue here to actually get some grass and trees in the middle. I'm also using the brush tool to actually spread some trees around this area, and this is a fantastic tool. Like, this works so well. But then, as you know me, I was like, let's just add one more tree here and there, and then half an hour later I was probably done. And then one of the nicest parts that I wanted to do in this area was to add the actual feature in the middle, and I'm using this plaza to actually make that happen and trying to get that as close to the middle as possible so it would fit very well when looking from above or from far away. I think I got it, and I also learned that you can add that on a pedestrian pathway. It needs to be a road, but I think the end result there is quite nice. I then end up doing some detailing around it because I wanted this area to be an actual park and not just the fountain, and I think the result there is really good. Let me know what you think in the comments. In terms of detailing, I've added a lot of these bushes by hand, and I think it's worth it, definitely worth it. And then added some trees to make these looks even better when it grows. With that central area done, I wanted now to work on the area around it because that was quite empty. I started with the City Hall and also added American football stadium in there, and I think that looks quite good. And with all that in place, we reach our next milestone. And why that's important? It's because we get high density offices. And this is the last piece of puzzle for us to finalize this area. I've replaced everything, and while it all grows, I came back here in the low density residential to add some more roads and some more zoning because we still have some demand for low density in there. And although it's not a full bar, I think it was beneficial for us to add that back in. and then went back to our main area to add more high density residential in there and more offices. We need a lot of jobs, so I'll be working on that quite a lot. And then we went straight into doing our new tram line, or our first tram line actually. We've unlocked that, and I'm making a loop here on this area, connecting those two sides of the train line in there, just to make sure that they have more options. We need more means of public transportation in this area, so I've created this line and I think that's working quite well. Now we're back at looking at the industrial demand because we need to keep up with that. And we are also adding our first recycling center. We didn't have that, and I'm pretty happy that we've managed to get that in, and I think that will help the city grow even further. And then we are looking at more services, adding some more parking in here. I'm actually increasing the price from 10 to 12 for each parking in this area, adding some crematorium, and also keep adding the offices and commercial in here because we need to keep up with the demand, and also filling up the rest of the area with some entertainment like the parks in here, and obviously doing some nice detailing with just one more tree in there because that's what we need to do for this to look good when we actually get this area to grow. Next, we are adding some underground parking in this area because I thought that would be cool to have it in there and keeping up with demand. I think it's really interesting that the high density residential actually brings as much people as it does, and I'm all for it. And as I mentioned before, the education wasn't enough at all, and this building is actually already full. But essentially, that'll be it for this area at least, and I'll do some decoration in there as well and adding some parks to make this area a little bit nicer to live. One other thing that I couldn't miss in this area is the observation tower. I think with the high density and the tall buildings that we have in this region, it would make a lot of sense to have it in there. And I think it will complement the whole thing quite well when you look at it from above or from far away. There are still a few things that I want to do in this area to make sure that I fill up the way that I actually want it to be. I didn't want to be like a big empty area in here, so I did a bit more of road layout, add some more residential and a lot more jobs for everyone. But I want something special, and I got that medieval castle, which brought us to the final milestone. And as it should be, we've added a lot of detailing around the castle as well to make it nicer and to fit a little bit better with the area. We've added some pathways, a lot of trees, as you know, and I am quite happy with the result of that as well. And as a last legacy, I unlocked the automated parking building and put that in here. This is all high density. I think it fits really well. and will help with everyone that wants to get into this area. And we are here next to the cemetery again because I want to show you those trees, how they're looking good now that they are all full and grow. And hold on, what is this over here? Hey, who are you? Let's take a look. Oh, that's Toadie.
Oh, hello! I didn't see you there. My name is Toadie, and I appreciate you having me in this lovely city Tchelow's built. My favorite loop to walk is the cemetery by the schools. Love what he's done with the area. As for me and my gameplay, I do my best to discourage gatekeeping in video games like Cities Skylines by creating both extra simple tutorials and cheeky lighthearted challenges. I focus on embracing my inclusive community, and in return, they often get a giggle at my goofy antics. Come find me on YouTube sometime and let me know you met me here on Tchelow's channel first.
What I'm also surprised. Thank you for joining our city, and please do check out her channel because she also has an awesome video on Cities Skylines too. But let's go back to the city because there is a lot still to take a look. One of the first things that I want to show you is how different this area looks like depending on how you look at it. So for example, if you look at this angle, just looks that we have like a lot of big buildings in here, skyscrapers, and that's all you have. There's nothing interesting happening in there. But as you start moving around, you start seeing that there is an interesting shape in here, and this looks quite cool because this area has a completely different view. Can you imagine being in this tower and just looking at all of this from here? Like have this really nice view. I just love it, and this changes as you move around, and in my opinion it looks pretty cool. I know that I'm biased, but you know. So we do have this area. I'll come back to this a little bit later. Let's start over here though. We have this building which is kind of new for us. This is a fuel plant. This is a unique service building, or signature building, I should say. And this gives some bonuses for our industry as well. And I thought it was really important to add this, especially because this reduces the air pollution and the ground pollution. So this should help us quite a lot in the city in terms of pollution. Now, that's not all. I've added another forestry industry in here. And the reason why is because, as you can see, the trees in here are very thin and they are growing again. So this area, I was looking at this like, looks like not very effective. So I used this space in here to add another one. And I've added a few more livestock farms on this area just because we could do better. Really, that's the only reason. The way I see this is that this road over here would probably go and cross this island in there. So we'll go into this little island over here. And by the way, that's called Bribey Island here where I live. So we'll go in there, and then the farms will go all the way in this corner, and then that area would be something else. I don't know if we'll do more farms or not. But yeah, that's what I was looking at. That's why I've added a few more in here. And then moving back into this area, all this space here is new. So we've added a lot more industry. Well, I say a lot more, but we added more industry in general. And I quite like that we've expanded this a little bit. We've also added a recycling center in here because we didn't have any garbage collection at all in the city, and I can show you how that's looking. Oh, storage, we are processing, that's fine. We have some buildings that will help us speed up the process of processing that garbage, and this will help us. We're still probably exporting more than anything else. Do we have any stats in here? Yeah, as you can see, we should be processing 138 tons per month, and we are processing 14, so definitely not enough. And we are exporting, or some other cities are coming to collect the garbage for us. It's not a problem, that's working. I'm happy with that. I don't want to add like 300 landfills in the city as well, but I think that works as well as possible. Haven't changed anything in this area or that area for that matter. The only thing that I've done here, I've added this extra car park, and I think just because we have this empty space, I thought, well, you know what, we could add a car park in there. I don't do those often, so I think that made sense. And then we go into this area that we had here before, so no big changes in here other than the telecom tower. We now have this bridge crossing over here and connecting to the new area that we've done as well. We have the trams going around. Just looking to see why they were a little bit slow in here, but doesn't seem like nothing. And in here, we expanded the low density houses in here a little bit as well. I just noticed that I need to put a little bit more trees in here and do something like we've done in this area, which is starting to look much better. Now, this is cool, lonely over here. I hope you remember that I mentioned that it's cool. I wouldn't be able to tackle everything. As you can see, university still needs more. College, they're all full as well. And we have 29 more people than we have capacity. Elementary school, we would need 4,000 more, which is basically 3 of those schools with the extensions, or 2 with extension, 1 without extension. So I think this is one of the things that I would say needs a little bit more balancing. Seems like a lot of demand for these schools and not enough capacity. Although with the building size, I think the capacity for the building actually feels like correct. I don't know, it's just me trying to adapt my knowledge into Cities Skylines 2 and not being there yet. But you know, I think like there are a few things that need a little bit more balancing, that's all. Now, back to the central area that we had in here. Lots of things happening in this area. We have this area, I don't think you saw that in the time lapse. So we have mostly offices and a couple of commercial in here. And we do have the medieval castle, we have that park over there next to the school. This is a car park, by the way. And hopefully, oh, look at how many people walking in this area. This is just fantastic. I love to see all the people walking. But I want to show you the car park and show you that you can see the cars in there. That's pretty cool, actually. And I don't know if you saw, there they are coming from there. And you could even get in there. And you can see people going to pick up their cars. Let's see. Oh, they pick up that model and away they go. Oh, that's nice. Will they use the ramp to go down? They will. Awesome. Look at it go. That's pretty cool, actually. I haven't seen that. So things like that. There is a lot of details like that in the game. And I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen probably not even like a quarter of that. And I've been playing for what, 60, 70 hours already. So yeah. But another thing that we added in here was the fire station with a helicopter depot. The demand for fire station was really high, and we don't, like, if you look at this, we had one small firehouse, another firehouse in here, and there was a lot of fires starting throughout the city. Adding this here resolved all the problems, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think that fits really well in the area. And then we also have the extension, which is a specialized rescue service workers search for survivors in collapsed buildings, the disaster response unit. So just in case, something happens, they are there, they are ready to help you. And obviously trees are starting to grow and our parks are looking much better. I love how this area is filling up. What I love about this area is that depending on the angle, you can see the fountain in there and you can move around and you see that again, and you can move around. And I think in here you can't see because we put that building in here, but you should be able to see from the other side there and from some other angles in here as well. And I think this brings these all together and this looks quite cool. I mentioned about density, so the idea was to have, I just think I'll have to replace, we have high density commercial and are they mid density? Maybe that's what I've done wrong in there. Yeah, there are medium density buildings in there. But what I could do, I could put the commercial in here and the medium density in here, facing the park. I think that was my initial idea actually. So we get lower buildings facing the park, higher ones, higher ones, higher ones, until we get to these huge skyscrapers. And with the idea that everyone would have a view. I might change that later, just to make sure that that happens. But then everyone would have a view to this park. And what a beautiful park. I really like this area. And I love that they are using all the pathways and you can see people walking in the plaza in there as well, accessing it through the roads or through the pathways that we added. And it is working quite nicely. Also the observation tower, I think, fits extremely well in here. And one thing that I noticed is that if you look from the highway in here, imagine you're coming on the train and seeing that beautiful city just over there at the background. How nice is that? I really, really like it. There's a bit of a bump in here as well. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. Our pollution is almost gone in here. If you remember, we had an outlet in here. This is starting to fade away, and recovering the area takes a long time. But I think, it makes kind of sense. But yeah, it's ugly. That's all it is. But with this area now complete, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So the idea of this series was to actually show you how you progress from a new city all the way to something as big as this city now is. If you look at the statistics, we have 64,000 people. We are getting almost 1 million per hour. And that's so good. And I want to show you how to get there. And I think, and I hope that you've seen that happening and how you should progress, what you should be paying attention, and showing you that you can play this just to have fun without looking into taxes or demands, not demands we are looking, but on the, let me see how that's called. I always forget the name. Production chain. Yeah, looking at materials, looking at material goods, and even immaterial goods. And oh, look at that, we're doing really well there. I think that's the first time I opened this screen. I haven't looked at that at all. But yeah, wanted to show you that you could do this and just have fun. And especially this last episode, the idea was to really be creative, start with something different, go from there, build around it. I love looking this area from above, by the way. It has such an interesting shape with all these skyscrapers. It looks really, really cool. And then I would keep growing this area, potentially not all skyscrapers, but trying to make like a better transition and into low density again, and maybe we would have other areas that we have high density again. But I did have fun with this build over here, with this little episode. and I hope you did as well. Now, one more thing is in terms of public transportation, we've added the tram that I show you, just two loops going clockwise and anti-clockwise, going this road here and this one at the back over here. So nothing special, but we do have quite good utilization on public transportation. So buses are very good in terms of utilization, really nice. Tram lines, they go up and down. I think the most I've seen was 45, 46%, I think. And depends on the time of the day. Now it's midday, so you shouldn't see a lot of utilization in there. And that's the train, no, all right. So trains, I think this is similar to what we had before. But the tram, oh, there we go, 65% there and 23, much more than what I thought it would be. So they have been really well utilized, and I love to see this view as well. That shows you that have a lot of people waiting here. Capacity for trans is almost full, as you can see. All the people in there. It's just so cool. I really like it. And yeah, the city is working. We do have some traffic though, and I wonder why we have all these people waiting here. Probably because of the amount of people walking. I think that might be it. With this, so many people walking in these areas, cars will struggle, especially in four-way interchange. That's why I don't like four-way interchange that much. But yeah, it's starting to go down, I think. There are all other areas with a lot of traffic, as you can see from here, going there and coming over here. Interesting way of assessing that area, but well, it is what it is, I guess. Rush hour traffic at its best. Look at this. Oh. Something that I noticed, you see that they changing lanes here, all at the same place. I've seen that quite a lot, and this usually causes a lot of traffic, especially, oh, look at this. Because when they do this, they stop the cars coming, and then obviously there is a knock-on effect in here. And all of them are changing the lane in here, and this is what's causing this traffic. So this might be something in the AI that needs to be taken care of, so this works a little bit better. But yeah, that's and I'm happy with the city. I think we've achieved quite a lot and quite a major growth in here. And if you have questions, please let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer those to you. And this Cities Skylines 2 will be available for everyone in just about 2 weeks' time, and everyone will be able to play it. I'm enjoying this thoroughly, and I hope you do enjoy it as well. But hopefully I'll be able to show you some more things between now and then. I'm not sure yet, but keep an eye on my community tab or the Discord, link in the description, my Twitter or X, and I will make sure that I'll let you know when I do something. So for today, thank you very much for all your support, for your time, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.